Hello everyone and welcome to episode 11 of Zori's Lessons in Paradise. It's a series of vlog posts where I aim to share this kukurigu with you and also invite you guys to connect deeper by telling you what's really going on with me right now and asking you to tell me how does that relate to your experience so that we can help each other out with different perspectives and grow together in this weird thing called life that is thrown at us at approximately the same time. So today I would like to share with you about three things. The first one has to do with pain in our personal relationships. The second one has to do with something I call threads of power. And the third one has to do with asking for help. So, starting off. Recently, I found myself walking down the street here in Bali and having this amazing experience where I would be just smiling and at people that I would keep on meeting on the street, like strangers that would just be smiling at me and laughing with me, and we would be making some small dance together, and it was like so beautiful and so happy and so light and so loving. And and it got me thinking of all the relationships I have here that are like so light and easy and deep at the same time, but in a way that is always like feeling so positive and light and loving. And at the same time, there is this aspect to it that's like, if all of my relationships here are like this, why is it that my closest relationships with my family and my boyfriend, for example, are not so easy? Shouldn't it be that they are also as easy as those ones? Why is it that I get so much pain when I go in those relationships? And actually, this got me thinking that there are two things that predispose us to pain and suffering when it comes to close relationships. So one of them is just this baggage that is in our nature to build up as we go with somebody through a lot of different experiences, and we build this image of who they are and these expectations of how they are and how they should be and how they should relate to us. And anything that clashes with that expectation is predisposing us to pain. And also, there is another aspect. Actually, it's related to this sort of light and easy and positive interactions with other people, is that society, the way it functions, is that it predisposes us to sort of share the nicest sides of ourselves with new people. And all that pain and all that negative stuff that we might be experiencing as we go through life, to save them for processing at home, either with ourselves or a lot of the time when it's just too much for us with our closest ones. And what happens is that we end up going in our, let's say, our romantic relationship and being like, oh, you are supposed to be willing to stay in that pain with me because you're my closest person and there's nobody else I could share this with. But also at the same time, you're supposed to be that person with whom I'm the happiest. I'm light and easy and everything is amazing, because otherwise why are we together, And there is this conflict between those. Those don't make sense. They don't make any sense. And the reason they don't make sense is because our default setting of what love should be like, of what a relationship should be like, is fucked up. And the truth is that our personal relationship is the ultimate challenge to our capacity to love, through exposing us to pain and having us see how do we deal with that pain and still love. How do we find a way to expand our capacity to love through sitting with somebody else in a painful state and owning it, instead of saying, oh, why are you bringing all this negative stuff to me? Recognizing that the moment you're saying this, you're already sharing those negative stuff with them, and owning that and staying with them, empathizing with them as an act of love. And yeah, that's my first lesson. Basically, it's about that pain in our personal close relationships is the way to learning how to love deeper and stronger and actually learning about life and how to overcome those challenges that we are facing through that pain. So, the second one, the second lesson I wanted to share with you has to do with something I call threads of power. So, recently I went to Contact Improvisation Jam, which is one of my favorite things to do here in Bali, where we get to spend Saturday morning dancing with each other in very flowing, beautiful ways, and also having that sense of touch, which is part of the contact improv, where you just improvise by always remaining with one point of touch with another person. And as we were preparing for that dance, the facilitator, which is a friend of mine, said like, okay, as you're just lying on the floor, start sensing this space around you, and start inviting other people in that space little by little, so that we can get to that point where we start touching, you know. And for me, in that moment, I had this feeling like, oh no, I don't want anyone else in my space right now. I don't want them. And it was like, what the fuck? Why am I? I'm here. I love this. Why am I experiencing this? And so as I went through that, I said, okay, keep it calm. Just I stood up. I walked away. I sat down on a sofa nearby, and I was like, right. So what's happening? You know? And I was like, well, I just don't feel like doing this right now. And I was like, okay, is that like a momentary thing, or like? And I just asked my intuition, actually, should I be here right now? I just had this answer, which was like, no. And I decided, okay, I'm not going to ask for any more explanations. I just get up and I leave. And as I did that, it opened up, like my morning went amazing, and it opened up this space for me to say no. Even when, you know, it's been like, it makes all the possible sense in the world to say yes, to say no in that moment, and to stick with it, and to go towards things that feel right, even when reason says they don't make sense, you know. And it was kind of interesting, because a lot of things happened with me after this experience where I chose to stay true to myself and to say no. And it went full circle actually yesterday, or actually it was the day before, when I was in that same dance again, and I was having an amazing time. And I was dancing and interacting, and I saw a girl that I know that was sitting nearby, and she was not dancing. And I was like, oh, what's she doing then? I just went and talked to her. And she told me, I don't know what's wrong, I just don't feel like dancing, and I keep on asking myself what's wrong, and I can't figure it out. And I told her about my experience, you know, and I just shared, like, look, this is how it was for me, and I feel like you're going through something similar, possibly, and it's okay, you know, it happens. And she was like, right, and she realized, okay, so, you know, I will probably go as well then. And afterwards, actually, she wrote me this message where she told me that it was such a good influence on her, like talking to me in that moment and giving her the power to feel like it's okay, let's just go, you know. And it got her to meet some friends and to dive deeper into a lot of cool things with them afterwards, because they just ran into each other into a cafe when she left. And she told me like, oh, that was so awesome, thank you so much for sharing this with me and being there with me. And when she said that, it made me realize, you know, oh my God, it's so awesome when you go out and you express that positive impact that somebody has had on you. You tell them this, and it feels so good to know that you've had this positive impact on others, but it also feels good to give it, to share this. And I was like, wow, I should start doing more of this. I should start sharing more with my friends, with the people that impact me, about their impact on me, and like letting that flow through me, you know. And in that way, somehow it's like I feel it's been so many different points in time that kind of come back to that one single spot that I said, okay, I will stay true to myself. And now it's come down to this other new amazing worlds opening up just because of that initial decision. So it's so cool to be able to follow that thread of power, and it starts with just that one single step of doing something that is true to yourself when it doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's the second lesson. The third lesson has to do with asking for help. You know, one thing I've been doing for a lot in the last years of my life, and I just recently started it here, it's called Mastermind. It's kind of a group where you get to share with people that are close to you what is your biggest challenge right now, and ask them for help. And as I started doing this last week with some friends, I realized I've really missed it. And I also happened to see this video of Steve Jobs, who was sharing how he went through most of his success by just going up to people and asking them for help, and that usually everybody would agree to help him ever since he was a kid, you know. And I was like, why am I not asking for help more often? What am I doing, you know? And I was like, I want to start asking for help. I want to start initiating. I want to start pushing towards something. And I started doing that, asking for help with people that I'm working with, that I would like to work with, for example. But also, like, just in when I'm dancing, just going towards a person, and the equivalent in dance of asking for help is just being like, okay, I want to dance with you, being open to that, being proactive in it, you know. So yeah, and it's been amazing for me, and I wanted to just share this with you guys, of like thinking about, actually I have it also in my journal, like what is one person I would ask for help today, and what would I ask help for. And having that question asked is super empowering for me. And actually today, one of the things that I had in my notebook as what I would ask for for help is, actually I wanted to ask you guys to help me with just sharing one or a couple of words that describe what is it that you're getting out of those videos, of watching those videos with me. Um, what is the benefit you're having in one word or in three words? And just posting a comment with this under the video, it would really help me to understand a bit better what am I doing with this and how is it helping you guys. So thank you very much for tuning in. I love you very much, and I'm super grateful that you tuned in with me for another round of lessons learned, and have a beautiful, beautiful day.